So, all right, guys. Hey, tonight's it's Tuesday evening. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Glad to have you. It's Pimpy and I. Pimpy and I are going to throw a lot at you guys. I'm probably going to ask Pimpy some questions. He'll expand on them, and I'll interject my own thoughts. Pimpy can testify that none of the questions that he's asked were nothing was what do you call it? Just pre-rigged in a way, or we didn't.
Well, let's put it this way. We didn't rehearse this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you kind of want to go over what you need to talk about. But he just called me up and he said, hey, let's do this live thing. So I said, okay, let's do it.
There you go. It's off the cuff. So, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. I want to cover some quick news of what's going on, and then Pimpy and I'll get into it. So here we go. All right, just so you guys know, this right here is the currency auctions. The currency auctions, this is on the CBI's website. The currency auctions have still been shut down since 3/17, okay? Because that's kind of the last one right there, okay? So nothing's happened since 3/17. So really since 3/18, the current currency auctions out of Iraq are still shut down, okay? Let me get into some other stuff here, okay? Today in U.S. news, Donald Trump said he wants everything, including the whole coronavirus. He wants life back to normal by Easter, which means by April 12th. Focus on that date, guys, because there's a whole lot of stuff encircling that date. Keep April 12th in the back of your mind, okay? Because there's a lot of stuff that Pimpy and I are going to throw at you circling that window of time. Okay, here's some other stuff, okay? So we just touched on the currency auctions. There's a group. It's and Scott, thank you for sending this to me. And Scott, as you get these, please keep sending them to me. What this is, what this is Scott sent this to me. What this is telling us, that it says right here, dear client, the Iraqi government extended the curfew until 11 p.m. on March 28th. That's telling you that the ISX is going to continue to be shut down through the end of the 28th and reopen on the 29th. But I'm going to interject an opinion on that. In my opinion, the ISX will stay shut down and not restore and come back online until Monday, April 13th. We're going to get into that in a moment. But again, I'm just guesstimating. It's going to be shut down for another 2 weeks and come back online on April 13th. So basically, it'll be down for 4 weeks. Okay? Now, here's the next one right here. It says the World Bank confirms its unwillingness to discuss granting any new loans to Baghdad. Guys, the whole coronavirus was so short term, and Iraq right now is on a temporary budget anyway, guys. They don't need any temporary funding or loans, okay? Iraq's fine financially, so that's what I wanted to show you. The IMF right there is telling Iraq they're not willing to write them any loans. Don't let this deceive you or confuse you. Remember, we've stressed to you there's a lot of BS coming out in the news, and this confirms that, okay? Now I'm going to show you. I got another thing I'm going to show you at the end. So, all right, let's get into the video. So, Pimpy, couple questions for you. What are your thoughts on what happened last week? Do you think anything really did happen last week? Because I mean, Kim Clement gave us the Dow at 20,000 points. My sister prophesied to me around March 17th. And then, as we just saw, Iraq shut down all their financial markets, and that's one of the things you and I have stressed about this, is that Iraq would pretty much have to shut down their financial markets when the rate goes to change, but yet we didn't see anything happen. So do you think anything could have happened? Was that significant of anything?
Well, let's kind of put a lot of things in perspective here really quick. It wasn't just Iraq's stock market. Remember, ours is closed down too. There's no humans there.
Correct.
I don't know if you know this, but it isn't just here. In Japan, the same thing. It's computers that are running this right now. So if you think about everything is being ran by computers, there's no humans in there, it makes it a little hard to kind of trust maybe what we see, because maybe it plays into a bigger picture. But, I don't want to get too conspiracy about this. But here's the thing that I was talking to you about earlier, and that is this. There are overlapping community. What I mean by that is we have the currency community, the dinar community, the Vietnam Dong community. We have the X22 community. I have the gold and silver community. We have the Kim Clement and the prophecy community. All of these seem to now be overlapping. All of them happen to be expecting something to happen real soon, which I think is really, really, really interesting. You have the Kim Clement prophecies. You see what's going on. The stock exchanges everywhere are down. Don't get me wrong, you can still trade, and the computers are running it. But what I mean by there's no people there, you know what I mean? The currency auctions stopped. We know that Iraq is trying to turn around and hurry up and put a government in there. We're seeing Trump saying that he wants everything done by Easter, but what he really told, you heard, and for those of you who are not into it, whether you believe it or not, if you follow Q, we know that Trump really wants everything done on the 10th, which are his initials, 4/10/20, DJT, Donald John Trump. And that's what he really wants it done, so that going into Easter, he wants to reopen everything. So we also know that Baghdad and all of them have postponed things until around the same time. But it's not just these two countries, is what I was trying to say, Jeff. It's Japan, Korea, Britain. All of them right now are doing the same thing, in shelter lockdown. Now, for Q followers and X22 followers, we believe that this might be a worldwide mass arrest. Whether others believe in it or not, this makes sense to me now. This would be the time to do it. We also know that Q said to expect huge protests. They're already being organized. And Q warned people that, Soros pays for protesters, but this time it's 10 times bigger than it was when Trump first got elected. This is going to be a worldwide thing. We know this. And this might explain why you're seeing the Mercy ships and the naval hospitals, one on each coast. We're seeing the National Guards be deployed for each state. We now see the Army in New York and in LA. This is not about the virus. Anybody who believes all this is about the virus, you're sadly mistaken. Be prepared for martial law. That's going to happen. But Q also told people, don't be scared. Just understand that things are in good hands. Now, again, what's that got to do with anything? Let's just say that if all this goes down and you're going to see riots and protests and people are going to be complaining and there's going to be, civil unrest, mass arrest, it's going to take some time for people to come down. The markets are destroyed. We're trying to pass this coronavirus bill to help people out financially. We know businesses are going to be hurting, but this is a good time. If you're going to have rights and all this stuff, this is a good time to do it. There's nobody in a lot of these businesses. Nobody's going to get hurt. You know what I mean? This is actually the perfect time to make all these moves. This also plays into the whole global currency reset. Now, many times you guys heard me on my channel say this, and that is every time we move from one type of reserve system into another, each so-called experiment lasts somewhere about 80 years. They always use some major event, and it's usually some type of epidemic, and to move us into the next one. And you can go to my videos. I've been saying it for months. But the last one, of course, was the Spanish flu, and now here we are again. So what happens? How do you reboot or kickstart a new environment? Now, for cryptocurrency people, I know you guys are doing the Pimpy dance, and that is, you guys saw what was in the new House bill resolution, and that is they plan on using cryptocurrencies to pay people. Now, there's more to it than that, and I'll explain more because there's a lot of explanation, and I don't want to do it all right now. That's not necessarily a good thing, and we'll get into it in another video. But for the most part, there's too many things overlapping right now for this not to be happening right now. Once we come out of this and all the ducks in a row, you're going to see magically there's a cure for coronavirus. People are going to get these so-called stimulus checks, and then all of a sudden you're going to see. Now, what's her name? Christina Lagarde said we need to be on an even playing field. The leaders in Japan and Britain said we need to be on an even playing field as far as trade and foreign currency exchanges are concerned. You heard Trump say we need to be on an even playing field. You're going to see, in my opinion, a total global currency reset. That's what's going to happen. Now, what that means, I don't know. I don't know what the rates are going to be, but it just makes sense. You can see all these events happening now. You can see that they're taking place right now, and I think it's going to happen. It's time.
So, but regarding the events specific to Iraq last week, do you think that had any impact relating towards the rate change within the country of Iraq.
Yeah. Doesn't it make sense? What are they doing? Everybody is getting set up. Whatever needs to be changed to the new banking industry is being set up. Whatever needs to be done to the exchanges, the currency exchanges, it's all being set up. I did a video saying, why the hell are all of the central banks around the world producing large amounts of their own currency? And that included Iraq. Remember, I was like, why the hell are they making 51 trillion dinars? It doesn't make no sense. Less than 5% of it is in country. Less than 9% of the Iraqi people have a banking account. I don't understand why they need that much, but it wasn't just them. It's everybody. So now, and then you've seen a report, was it, Jeff, maybe 2 days ago, where the Federal Reserve said all the central banks are fluid. They are liquid. People don't panic. They're ready. This thing's been planning. I think it got kick-started around the time you're talking about. I believe it was the 17th. That's when everything started happening. They're just putting their ducks in a row. We're waiting for whatever this thing is that's going to happen. Now, for those of you who don't follow Q, whether or not you believe them, for those that do, we know what to look for this. Even if you don't follow Q or you don't listen to X22 report, they said we know it will be kick-started. It'll start happening when Trump tweets out on a Friday, when he says the storm has arrived. That's when all this kicks into place. You're going to see everything start happening. And so that's our cue. He will be on Air Force One. He'll be insulated, and you're going to see everybody making a move. So National Guards are deployed. Remember, National Guards only protect their states. So a lot of states have already deployed their National Guards. They claim to make sure that everybody is sticking to the in-shelter laws, but that's not it. It's martial law is coming. There's no stopping it. Trump needs to take control of this, get these people arrested, get them removed, and reestablish their power back. And all that plays part of what's going on with the global currency reset. This is why you see what's happening in Iraq happening. It's getting ready to happen.
So you agree, you feel that last week may have started the rate change process. From your knowledge and understanding, how long? And I'm not talking a small pip rate change. I'm talking like what Kuwait did. Just so you guys know, a single movement of currency is called a pip, a PIP. Okay, so a large pip rate change, such as what Kuwait did, in your knowledge or understanding, how long could a process like that take to actually perform?
To do the rate change?
Yeah, to do a rate change.
In my opinion, look, they already have been setting all this up. The ducks are in a row. I believe everything's ready to happen. They're just going to come out and announce whatever rate change it is. They're just going to announce it. It's going to happen instantly.
Okay. You don't think there's...
Now,
go ahead.
Now, that doesn't mean they won't have what's called a managed rate or a dirty float. And that is, they're going to manage it, because if it's too much of a shock to the economy of that country, it could actually damage it if they don't control it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, although they can announce a rate change overnight, that doesn't mean it won't change and fluctuate in order to keep a huge shock from happening to the economies.
So last week, with them shutting down their financial markets, and they're still currently down, shows that some type of preparations happen in the background. And there's
but like I said, Jeff, check this out. All of these markets, all the stock markets are technically closed. There's no people in them.
Right. But I'm just saying, with specifically with Iraq and having their stock markets down, and there's a reason why God went out of his way to really point last week to us. Like it had some kind of importance and significance. He went out of his way to say, hey, pay attention to the Dow. Do not look to Wall Street, but pay attention to the Dow reaching 20,000 points. Only observe on that. He went out of his way to bring 317 to me through my sister. And then at that same time, we have on 317, the Dow hits 20K. Iraq shuts down all their... So God was emphasizing last week to us there was something of importance there. And it sounded like, Pimpy, it sounded like you suggested they may have actually started the rate change process last week based on your thoughts, what you shared earlier.
Well, what I think is this. I think the plan has been going into process for some time. I think that as far as the rate change is concerned, again, people, this is just our opinion. the best that we can do is give you an educated guess based on all the things that we come across. All right? In my opinion, I see way too many things overlapping that really don't have anything to do with one another, but in a more broader sense do have everything to do with one another, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So each community is overlapping with the other one right now, and I see that. I know, real quick, I wanted to say something to a couple of people. They're asking questions. I know Trump said there's not going to be any martial law, but it's not like he's going to announce it. That would be a huge thing to announce too early. I just wanted to get that out there because I think Sharon said something. So think about everything, even the gold and silver markets right now, and the stock markets took a huge drop. Now all of a sudden they're quickly rebounding. I just this whatever this coronavirus thing is, it's just, excuse my term, but it's just a bullshit thing. Don't get me wrong, people are dying. People are sick. I don't know of anybody, and I don't know of anybody that knows anybody, but I'm just going to go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt that it's real, because I don't want people to think that I'm somehow, disqualifying or thinking that there's no sick people. No, they're sick. They're out there, but it's being so overblown, it's not even funny. You know what I mean? When you see people dying more of the flu than this thing every year, but nobody's making this kind of panic. You know what I mean? More people die from aspirin, but 300,000 people a year die from aspirin. We don't see this kind of response. So, again, this is just my opinion, and that is there's too much happening right now with all the central banks, too much happening with our stock markets, too much happening worldwide. They're locking down their borders, deploying the military, our National Guard's out. You tell me what you think all this is, Jeff.
So my opinion is this. God gave me some really strong clarification on Sunday night. That's why I put the video out I did on Monday saying, guys, the rate change process has started. I got strong clarification on that. And now if you guys remember I got attacked over the weekend because a bunch of people are like, hey, you told us the rate would happen last weekend and it didn't. Okay, well, there's things that I don't know, but let me expand on this. I also told a week ago Monday, I did a video and I said, guys, God gave me 2 dates, and I told you the second date in that was roughly the week or close proximity to around April 9th. I said I didn't quite know what it meant. I knew it was specific to the dinar. I didn't know the meaning of it, okay, but I said I felt it has something to do with the delay. What got clarified to me through faith on Sunday night was that the reason I was given March 17th is that's the starting point in this. That's why all of Iraq's markets ended or shut down, okay? So they could start the rate change process, and then what has to do with around April 9th or like the week of April 9th is that's the ending point in this, guys. It's a 4-week process. So everybody who told me I was full of crap and wrong, there you go. Okay, it's a 4-week process, and you're in week 2 now. There's 2 more weeks to go. This whole video is my opinion and should not be used for financial advice. But guys, the reason Trump wants life back to normal on April 12th, okay, it's this, guys. God's in charge, and God wants you to know it happened. And that's why God has this plan for April 12th, Easter, because that's when he rose from the dead. This is all about God. And he wants,
yeah, that would be a true rebirth, if you think about it.
Yeah, he wants it emphasized on him, and that's what this whole thing is about. So there you go. So you got roughly 2.5 more weeks to go, and Easter, April 12th, guys. It's all about God. There you go. So
yeah, it's just weird how all these things overlap. Now, if people really want to laugh, a lot of people don't know this. Did you guys know that Trump's mother's name is Mary and his father's name is Christ? I just think that's funny. That pisses off liberals, but it's the truth. It's funny, but it's just weird how all these things are happening around the same time. Like I said, you have the Q and the X22 community, have the gold, the silver community, you have the cryptocurrency community, you have the currency communities. It's just weird that all of these are right now overlapping. Their beliefs are. So it looks like it's going to happen.
There you go. So yeah, that's why the markets are staying down, and that's why if you notice at the beginning of the video when I was sharing the the article with you about the ISX showing you it's still down. Now notice, guys, this is a classified event, okay? So because it's a classified event, notice how last week they only said, oh yeah, we're going to have the ISX shut down for through roughly the 24th. And then on Monday they came out saying, oh, we're going to extend the shutdown kind of through the 28th, 29th right there. Notice how they're only telling you that week to week because this is classified. They cannot let too much information out at one time to really let the cat out of the bag. That's why they're kind of keeping it tight-lipped and telling you small increments at a time. So that's what you're seeing play out. And like I said, I gave you my opinion, and I told you I felt that the ISX, I think the currency auctions will come completely to an end after the rate change. But I think
there's no reason for it.
Right. I think the ISX will be completely shut down, and I don't think it'll come back online until probably April 13th. So hey, Scott, you sent me that information on the ISX shutdown. Please keep sending me those so we can keep the whole group updated. But yeah, I want to, like I said, in my opinion, I feel they're going to extend the ISX or keep it shut down for another 2 weeks and probably bring it back online around the 13th. So that's where we're at, guys. A lot of good information. You saw Trump coming out telling you he wants to get life back to normal on Easter, April 12th. I don't think.
Well, you're forgetting a big. You're forgetting a pretty big chunk, my friend.
What you got?
The PM just got the green light to establish his cabinet. His cabinet.
That's right.
So yeah, and that came from the big bloc, the pro-Iranian people. So.
That's true.
Okay, so like I said, I want to elaborate. I don't want to do it now because it's going to be longer drawn out, but I'm going to do a video, and I want to elaborate more on the fact that the government is putting in this new bill cryptocurrencies. For those of you who are not paying attention, but I want to share with you some concerns I have about that, and then tell you where I think they're going to be going with it. But I don't want to get too much into it right now. But look, me and Jeff shoot from time to time. I'm like, is it me or this is a lot of this overlapping with one another? And it seems to be overlapping.
You nailed it. Remember, Q came out talking about 10 days of darkness. He said that would start from April 1st. So you have April 1st through April 10th. That means 10 days of darkness, nothing happening other than probably like the National Guard doing the lockdown and the what was the lockdown that Donald Trump would do. Anyway, So that's
Robert's asking me. Oh, go ahead.
That's your 10 days of darkness. But anyway, so that kind of shows life comes back to normal around the 11th and the 12th. So.
Okay, so people are asking about the rate. Here's the thing. I told you what I saw and what I read, and to me it just makes sense that they come out with $1.34. But I tell you what, I also made an argument why they should start off at the reinstated rate of $3.22. They have nothing right now. You know what I mean? They need to have a more purchasing power so that they can turn around and buy a ton of things. And this is another reason why I think they're going to come out with a managed rate, not a free float. I thought they said they're going to do a free float. I find that hard to believe. It's going to be a managed rate. They're most likely going to come out, and I hate to say this, but most likely be reinstated at the $3.22 rate, but not for very long because they only need to grab all the supplies and do what they need to do and then make an adjustment because a rate that high will not allow them to develop economically. They won't be able to compete on the open trade market with such a high rate. They'll most likely get back down to around $1.34 is where their goal was. But don't be surprised if they don't come out to $1.34 first.
And Pimpy and I have different points of view on that. Again, my opinion should not be used for financial advice. Faith has revealed to me around 380. So time will tell, and we'll see how everything plays out.
Okay, everybody's asking me about Nathan. Here's the thing. I can see there's like 500 questions in there. Okay, you guys, just make sure you're subscribed to my channel and you got the notification button. Nathan is right at the end of wrapping something up. So you take that for what you want. As soon as he said, he's really super busy. He's trying to finish this. Once it's finished, then he'll come on and talk to us about it a little bit, okay? But he can't do that right now based on where he is, okay?
Do you guys have any?
I hope that makes sense.
Do you guys have any questions you want answered real quick? We didn't plan on doing a long call tonight anyway. We wanted to get the key points to you, kind of letting you know that last week was actually very significant. Both Pimpy and I, from different angles, mutually feel that they really started the rate change process. Remember, guys, if this is a global currency reset, it is going to take some time. It's not just as easy as changing numbers overnight. Okay, it'll be a long, drawn-out process. And either way, though, we're in about a 4-week process right now. You're in week 2 now. You have 2 more to go. So, like I said.
So, again, Trump put out already a 2-week deadline. We're at, I think, day 9. So I don't know what that deadline is.
Well, I think that
but we're
starts
going to find
April
out
1st. I think that starts April 1st, Pimpy.
No. He's the other one as to when they're going to make the decision whether or not people should go back to work, I think is what it is. I don't know. We'll find out. But if you don't mind, Jeff, I just want to remind everybody, because some of you people I haven't seen in a while, I know you from the other channel, you might not be aware of this, and that is I did start my own YouTube channel. It's called Pimpy's Investment Chat. You guys are welcome there as well, and I encourage people to come over to Jeff and listen to Jeff as well. And we talk about the other people. Mike P out there, he started a new channel. Of course, the Dinarian, we got to give them a shout out. These are people that we all talk with one another, and we are very respectful with one another. So,
yeah, we try to, Mike P, we talk to him and we interact with the Dinarian. So yeah, all great. Everybody does a great job. Everybody tries to really go out of their way to help everyone. And there's not everybody knows everything, but as time pushes forward, more key details, we're able to kind of absorb it, see how it plays in, and now we can really see how the significance of last week. There's time needed because it's roughly about a 4-week process with everything transpiring in the world around it, and how there's so many outside events all interlocking together, kind of coming into play to this. So.
Yeah, also take in consideration what else is coming up in April.
Well, you have Easter.
Do you remember?
You have Easter.
Don just
April
put
6th.
it in there.
April 6th.
Yeah. April 6th, currency manipulation law is in effect.
Yep.
So you guys see, see how all of these things are overlapping with one another? Do you see that now? Something is happening. Is it going to? Okay, well, here's the deal. If you think this is the actual global currency reset, hit the thumbs up real quick because I'm just curious. Or type yes in there. Do what you want to do. Thumbs up or hit the yes. Is it the global currency reset? Let's see what it is. Because remember, there's a slight delay by the time they hear it on there.
Right.
Crypto mogul, April Fool's is coming. That is true.
There you go.
Yeah, I just think I just noticed that too many things are overlapping, so I'm curious as to how this plays out.
Yeah, it's definitely a large event because there's so many
there we go.
So many layers and steps to this, and so it's not something that they can just do in one night. They need time on this.
There you go. Look at that. There you go. Dang, that's what I'm talking about, peeps. All right. So yeah, me, Jeff, we talk, and I said, he said, let's do a live show. So yeah, let's just talk about what we're noticing, man, because let's get it out there, let people hear about it,
Right. Everything's moving in the right direction. Now that we have a better understanding that it needs a little time, you guys will see it all come together. And one way you can gauge everything, you can call me a big turd for not sharing accurate information. I don't care. But what you can see to qualify what I'm sharing with you is look for the currency auctions to stay disabled and stopped, and I'll share that with you guys too. And also we want to look for the currency, the ISX, to actually stay offline for at least 2 more weeks. Kind of, and to where they probably won't come online till about April 13th. If all of that transpires exactly how we're sharing with you guys, you're knowing exactly where you stand in this. Okay. That would strongly suggest that Easter's probably our target window right there, kind of that weekend, and it's God. This is all a gift of a blessing from God to us, and so so God's got it. God's putting a huge emphasis on Himself to show you that, hey, I did this for you guys, and this is from me, and so.
So here's the thing. A lot of people have been going, how can they afford to do this? How can they afford to do this? And after a while, I don't think it was a matter of whether or not they can afford to do rate change. There's obviously a bigger picture happening that we haven't quite seen yet. So it's not a matter whether they can to do the rates or not. I think what you're going to see is a collaboration with most all of the countries, like I said before, and that is, look, each country probably agreed with Iraq, and that is, look, we'll take care of each of our citizens in our country as far as the exchange is concerned. We'll turn around and settle up with you later. This is why we've seen a huge currency swap take place about 5 years ago between 36 countries. And then about 2 years ago, I think it was another 22 countries did a huge currency swap. This thing has been planned for a while. I think what the real plan was got changed once Trump got into office, and it's now going to benefit us. You know, whether you support Trump or not, I happen to think he's really a hero in all this. So let's see what happens. It's definitely a lot happening at one time. There's no doubt about it.
So let me share. I had one more little tidbit to share here. Hold on. Give me two.
Because I want to remind people of something. So many of you out there, and I'm going to remind you of this, so
All right, give me a second here. I've got one more little piece that I wanted to get in, but give me a second here to resize a screen on the back end here. Let me see if I can just squeeze it in. Hold on. I gotta find it first. Here it is. Okay, let me see if it'll actually fit. Hold on. I may have to resize yeah, I gotta resize the screen. Give me 2 seconds here to resize this screen, and then I'll show it to you guys. Oh, they lost audio?